Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. To be honest, I'm still on this journey. Now this answer has actually changed, but that's not very helpful because it doesn't really have much, and it is heavenly. I get so excited. I've written down here the next question is a really important one. Do antibiotics that were going to save your life? I do not need permission for eating. Anorexia is not a choice, but recovery is. My door is covered in post-it notes. I've written you a letter. I need to apologise right now because you are allowed to and you need to do what you need to do to recover. And it was actually the hardest one I've ever been asked. Video, this is the one that I thought of when I thought of starting a channel. And it is answering every single question you have on anorexia or eating disorder recovery. And I mean every single one. I put a question box in my story on Instagram and you guys delivered. You asked me questions and I've got 5 pages of notes here just because I wanted to make sure I would remember everything. I really hope you enjoy this video because I've really tried to prepare for it. Disclaimer, I am literally speaking off of my own experience and the advice I would give myself if I could go back in time. I'm obviously not a medical professional, and please, if anything I say triggers you, please know that that was never the intention and just try your best to move on with your day. And if something I say doesn't agree with something that your team is telling you, please trust them because they are the ones that actually know you and they know your situation. I obviously don't. Let's get into the video then. The first question, how did you overcome your fear of rest? Did it affect your body in any way? To be honest, I'm still on this journey because I was allowed back to doing movement a little bit too early and my eating disorder definitely took advantage. But I am doing so much better right now. And I can fairly easily miss walks and talk myself down from moving unnecessarily, so I still feel like I can somewhat speak on this subject. The biggest step for me was literally to challenge it. Movement barely accounts for any of your energy output. By the way, I'm being weighed as a controlled part of therapy. And just seeing the number on the scale stay the same when I challenged myself to stay still was so anxiety reducing, and trust me, your weight is not related to how much you move. Like, there is a little bit of a correlation. If you're over exercising, you will unhealthily be losing weight, but in the grand scheme of things, there is many more factors into whether your weight goes up or down. That really has helped me. I don't know if it's what I'm supposed to be saying to you. And a reminder, your worth is not in how much you move. Nobody cares, literally nobody cares. So please put that out of your mind. If you don't move all day, so what? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change who you are as a person. So you are allowed to rest and you are allowed to take a break even when you don't need a break. About did it affect your body in any way? The first recovery thing I ever chose to do when I was first diagnosed was to take off my smartwatch because I was being forced to only walk in tiny amounts. And I have to say to you, it did not affect my weight at all. I went from doing over 10,000 steps a day to barely anything, and my weight literally did not change. In fact, I actually lost a little bit of weight that first week because my body was still not happy with the amount of food I was eating. But yeah, like, that should just show you that it does not affect your body. And it took so much metaphorical weight off my shoulders, being unable to track exactly what was going on with my steps was so freeing, and I would highly recommend it. If you haven't taken off your smartwatch yet, please do. Can I just say, you might have noticed I'm wearing an Aura ring. I'm part of a study on people recovering from eating disorders, so they are getting the data from this and I'm not. And then at the end of the year, I will be giving my ring back. So I am not receiving any of the data, so I just didn't want it to seem contradictory. But please rest. Your body needs it now more than ever. It's not normal to compulsively move, and you are allowed to stop. I promise. The next question was, what was the hardest part to let go of? Now, this answer has actually changed. At the beginning, it was fear of being lazy or greedy, but now it's the feeling of not being valid. I struggle every single day with thoughts of not being sick enough, and it's my first reason when I convince myself to back out of a challenge. But what I try and remember is that I am extremely lucky to have not got as physically sick as some of the other people online. They have had unnecessary trauma added to their life, and that is really sad, and I genuinely feel that that is sad, and I'm sorry if you're in that situation. But one of the most telling things is the fact that they often speak about not feeling sick enough as well, which just goes to prove that an eating disorder is never satisfied until you're dead. And my illness often tells me, oh, if you just did that, you could recover. But if the point is to recover in the end, you need to start now, because every single time you follow your eating disorder, it's making it harder to recover, and what's the point in that? What was the easiest food to allow yourself? So I have to say, my safe food the whole time has been cucumber, and I can eat as much of it as I want, and very early on I was able to do that, but that's not very helpful because it doesn't really have much nutrition in it. But one interesting thing that came into my head when I was asked this question was the fact that actually when dessert got added back into my meal plan, I didn't struggle with it that much. I literally went out to the shops and we bought one of those goo pots. Oh, they are so good. Please try them if you have not. And then my mum bought me a whale, Safi, because I was obviously feeling anxious about having to eat pudding for the first time in a while. And yeah, I just kind of did it. And that was that. And then from that point on, I've been eating chocolate chip cookies. I ate them for a long time. And now I'm onto my mum's home baking. And yeah, I really didn't have much trouble that specific day. I think I was just feeling particularly strong, but it really does make all the difference when you can show yourself that it's okay and that nothing bad happens on the very first time. At least for me, it makes it so much easier to carry on. Then someone asked me, what is your favourite food? And 100,000% crumble, specifically rhubarb and ginger crumble. My mum made that a couple of days ago and we've been having it for the last few days, and it is heavenly. I get so excited to eat crumble. I don't know why crumble is my thing. No one else in my family likes it quite as much as I do, but I'm just obsessed with it. I always have been since I was little. If we went out to a cafe, I would get the crumble, and the crumble was on the menu, I'd get the crumble. But an honourable mention, if I get another, is noodles. I love noodles. Mum makes this chicken chow mein, so good. Also pad thai she makes. I love crumble and noodles. Obviously not together, can I just say. Please comment down below what your favourite food is, because it's always nice to get new recommendations, and it would be nice to have a space where we can talk positively about food. Who or what helped you the most? I've written down here my mum, and that is 100% true. She has sat with me through a lot of my meals, and she has held me as I've cried. She's taken the brunt of my anger. She's just been the strongest support ever, and I literally wouldn't be here without her. Every single day I go to her with what I'm worried about, and she helps me. She talks it through with me, she listens, and I wish I could show her more how much I appreciate it, because when I'm in that ED mindset, I do really struggle to be kind, and my mum is the last person to deserve any hatred. She is just amazing. So definitely my mum. Another person is my CAMS nurse. Honestly, she was the best ever. She helped me so much. She listened to me, and I really trusted her because A, she was the first person that I'd ever seen for my illness, and B, because she was a professional, right? And she just knew so much, and that really helped. So I need to say though, I need to give some credit to myself, which sounds narcissistic, but my best moments of healing have been when I've done what I truly needed to do in that moment and what I knew in my heart was right. So please trust yourself. You can't just wait for others to prompt you because they can't read your mind. They don't know what's right for you in that moment. Just trust yourself. Allow yourself to help yourself. I'm saying yourself a lot. Go along with what you know is going to heal you because you are the best person to do that. And if you need permission, I am giving it to you right now. You can do this. I know it's hard, but you can do this. My biggest fear and greatest wish for the future. At least my eating disorder's biggest fear is losing control over my weight and my eating and not caring about health anymore, and therefore going too far the other way. But professionals and lots of people who I trust keep telling me that that is not going to happen. It's not something I need to be worried about. So my healthy me's biggest fear is never returning to the way I was before the illness. I know I won't be exactly the same, but I was so free, so kind, so happy, and the ED has really turned those things upside down. And that's basically my greatest wish too. I want to enjoy life again, properly. But you know, I am making significant progress on that since finishing school. Life has gotten so much brighter since I've not had to work all day and go to school and deal with social pressures and deal with not understanding. I know we have to go to school, but school sucks. So hold on, because maybe in your holidays, once you finish school, life will look a whole lot better, because that's what happened for me. The next question is a really important one, and it says, do you think full recovery is possible? Yes, 100% yes. Recovery literally wouldn't exist if there was no point. But instead there are thousands of teams all around the world dedicated to helping you recover, and so many social media accounts showing their journey to it or their life after it. Recovery is so glamorized online, but I think it is like that because it is possible, and once it's happened, I mean properly happened, you never want to go back. But I wanted to put a note in here, please don't be discouraged if it's taking you longer than what other people have said or than you were expecting. That doesn't mean it's impossible, and you might as well commit to it and go as fast as you can, and I mean as fast as you can, not as fast as will make you burn out. As fast as you can healthily go. You might as well try it, right? You know the alternative doesn't bring good things. How do you stick to your meal plan and stop needing permission to eat? Your meal plan and resting are about the only things you need to have discipline for during recovery. Your meal plan is literally a prescription. Food is your version of medicine. If a doctor prescribed you antibiotics that were going to save your life, you wouldn't question it. And this is just the same. Permission. It's a hard one, but my favourite mindsets are that it's your life. Why would you not make the most of it by recovering? Recovery is, at its core, for me or for you, that means that you need to keep doing the recovery things even when there is no one to hold you accountable, because it is only hurting me and prolonging my suffering, which doesn't make any sense, and a healthy person would never want that for themselves. So you have to fake it till you make it, right? And go at life as if you're healthy. And I feel like that's how you reach recovery, is by following those thought patterns until they become embedded. The next mindset is, I do not need permission for eating. I do not get permission for taking each breath. So eating is just as much of a bodily need as breathing. So please treat it the same way. And lastly, it is my eating disorder that doesn't want to recover and hence asks for permission all the time. Not me. The way to beat it is by making myself uncomfortable until I learn that there is no reason for fear. And honestly, I think you're ready to move away from permission. You're asking this question which just shows that you have a self-awareness that it's wrong, and you know that really you shouldn't need to be asking for permission for eating. You and only you hold the key to recovery, and in your heart I'm really sure that you actually want to unlock the door, so just remember that it's never going to feel right until you've started. If I'm still thinking about calories, am I really recovered? In my opinion, no. I believe that full recovery is much better than still worrying about calories all of the time. You know, calories are actually not real. They are a scientific measure of, I think, how much time it takes the food to burn, not about how it's processed inside of our body. It's just literally a measure of how long it fuels a fire, which is so stupid because calories are just not necessary. So yes, you still have a little bit more work to do, but look how far you've come. You can make this final push. Something I'd personally recommend is switching up what you're eating to things that you haven't memorized the nutritional information of, and really challenge yourself to keep it that way. You've got this. Full recovery is possible, and it is so much better than still thinking about calories. I can't promise yet, but I know I will be able to soon. How do you explain anorexia to a family member who is trying to help but making it worse? Okay, I've written down my things, so I'm just going to read for a little bit. So I'd personally say, thank you for your efforts. I know this is hard on everyone and there's no guidebook for helping me right now. The thing is, my anorexia really makes me struggle with this emotion and with this action. Anorexia is not a choice, but recovery is, and I'm trying to recover, but when you do this, it makes it harder. An eating disorder is hopefully the hardest thing we have ever been and will ever go through. I would really appreciate if you could change that behaviour so it becomes a little easier for me to fight this. So obviously I don't know your exact situation, which is why I've tried to make it a basic structure. I know this sounds therapy-ish, but sometimes you need to force yourself through the uncomfortable interactions to make sure that your point gets across in a calm and collected way. How to get used to your recovered or recovering body, like being comfortable with changes. Maybe hide it from the world so that you can process it first. That sounds not recovery based, but for me, I just can only deal with one thing at once. I don't want to deal with other people's comments at the same time as I'm trying to process my own body changing. So, you know, loose floaty trousers, dresses, I love dresses, like long ones, and allow yourself to do what you need to do to get to a place where you are okay. Second, put affirmations on post-its. My door is covered in post-it notes with lots of different mantras. For example, my body is a gateway to a better life. My thighs look exactly as they are meant to right now. I am proud of how far I've come. You have to repeat these for a long time before they start working, so it's okay if it feels stupid, and don't give up after a week, please. If you outgrow your clothes and you're in a position to, use it as a treat to get more. You deserve to have nice things, and our style is always changing, so replace with pieces that you actually love. And, you know, it might actually make you excited to wear those things and to be in a body where you can wear those things. Lastly, every new stretch mark, every inch of fat, every piece of cellulite is a win against your disorder. You deserve to be so proud of it all, especially because it's harder for you if you struggle with change. You are doing the right thing by gaining weight, and you will get used to your new body eventually. It's okay if it takes time. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's wrong. How to feel sick enough when professionals tell you aren't. I've written you a letter. So I hope that this helps. First off, I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. You deserved better and you should be so amazed with yourself that you asked for help. I just wish they'd given it. The thing is, you are sick enough. The very question dictates that, because in what messed up world do people want to be ill, let alone iller than they already are? I think you need to focus on the clear fact that you aren't happy and you're lucky enough to be self-aware that you've noticed. You have the opportunity to push yourself now and heal. Yes, it will be difficult and it will hurt because you are ill, but every single person has different struggles and they each deal with them differently. It's impossible for every story to fit in some box that a professional has defined. That doesn't make you less valid. I know me saying that doesn't do much, but again, you have to repeat it over and over. I did, and now I'm healing. And one of the main purposes of my page is to show you that you are sick enough and you do deserve to heal, so I hope that my posts can help too. You deserve recovery. You should not be having to ask that question. I'm so sorry that the professionals said that, but they aren't the be-all and end-all of whether you need to recover. So please choose recovery before it's too late. Yes, your body can give up at any size. How to not compare every single possible number, even like years struggled. Firstly, I want to validate you because I know how painful that comparison is. I know how much it plays on your mind and tears you down. People who are telling you numbers are either too sick to see how it is hurting other people or genuinely are trying to help and are just going about it in the wrong way. I need to apologise right now because however much I try and steer away from numbers, I am aware that sometimes I speak about them, and I want you to know that I am firmly in the second group. I never intend to provoke comparison. My answer goes back to that last question a bit. You are on your own journey, and it is literally impossible for that to be a carbon copy of anyone else's. You have your own reasons that you are valid, and it is about striking a balance between letting the ED take comfort in that and also not giving in. You are valid, full stop. That is enough, and the healthy side of you knows that. When you feel bad about yourself from drawing comparisons, it is the ill part of your brain, and we want to make that bit uncomfortable. So, in a way, you can be glad. I know it's hard, but you can be glad that the ill part of your brain is feeling uncomfortable, because that is a win, and it's just another battle fought and won. On the road to full recovery. How did you recover from an ED? It is hard. It is really, really hard. So my tips. Have tangible motivations. At first for me it was being allowed to go on my orchestra residentials and then to be allowed on walks whenever I wanted, because I have autism and walking actually regulates my nervous system. And it was so painful to not be allowed to go on walks. So that was a really big motivator for me. And now it's to prepare myself for a cruise, which we're going on in August, which I am so beyond excited for. So that me and my family can have a good time. Trust yourself. You know what is truly right a lot of the time. You are allowed to, and you need to do what you need to do to recover. If you need permission, trust me, I'm giving it to you now. I truly wish I'd been told this sooner, so please follow that advice. You know what to do, and that's okay. It's okay that you want to help yourself recover. It's okay that you have that capacity. I promise it's all okay. But if you are in the situation where you genuinely don't know what to do, trust others, trust the people that you love, copy them, or be an outsider looking at the signals that your own body is giving. And you would never tell another human, oh, you shouldn't eat even though you're hungry. So you should follow that advice in those moments when you don't know what to do. If you can tell that you're hungry because you've been thinking about food or because your stomach is physically rumbling, you just need to follow that. Challenge your thoughts. Opposite actions can be so freeing. Prove to yourself that the sky doesn't cave in when you eat pudding or you miss a walk. No one is angry at you because of those things. If you repeat these challenges, whether they are big like eating a fair food or small like walking on the other side of the road, you will learn that it really has no correlation to your body or worth, and any weight that you do gain was definitely needed, and then it will plateau. Know that your thoughts and emotions are not fact. Just because you feel really angry in the moment towards someone who's asking you to eat, or yourself for pushing yourself to eat, you are allowed to feel your emotions, but don't let that take over and become a reason to restrict. And if you struggle with feeling like you're going against a past promise to be skinny, I want you to know that eating disorders are not about being thin. Yes, it may feel that way in your head, but it goes much deeper. You are not ruining your body or limiting your future. In fact, you're doing the exact opposite. You never wanted to be skinny. You wanted control, or to be loved, or to be understood. You are only going against an illness by fighting. One that will soon be out of your brain entirely, so you don't need to worry about how hungry it is right now. Hey guys, I'm sorry, there was one late question, and it was actually the hardest one I've ever been asked, so I definitely had to think carefully about the answer to this one. But it's really interesting, so I hope that this is helpful. The question was, how to have motivation to recover in the absence of physical markers of illness. Many recovery accounts encourage recovery because of the stereotypical consequences of an ED, such as low heart rate, feeling cold, and more scary things the ED will actually sometimes craves, like for organ failure. I never had that, and I'm sure so many people never do as well, so it's difficult to find motivation for recovery sometimes. I really feel for you, but the truth is that recovery isn't for the physical benefits. Many people do not experience these things, and yet they still have an extremely small life. They still are very miserable and therefore very much need recovery. Recovery is life-saving at any point. Eating disorders are mental illnesses, which means that no one can see the extent of them except from yourself. Social media can be such an invalidating place when you haven't ticked all the supposed boxes of doing an ED properly. I know that. But just because you feel that way doesn't make it true. The quotation marks that you put kind of suggest that you know it's not recovery based when they show details of these things. And can I just point out that everything is subjective? People very often exaggerate or focus on elements that wouldn't have been a big deal to you. This is them attempting to feel valid, but if those things had happened to you, I guarantee that your brain would not care and would just move on to the next level of sick. In early recovery, I actually wasn't concerned with my physical health at all. I knew that life was getting less enjoyable by the day, and I held on to a scrap of hope that it could be more enjoyable than this. Now my motivations for recovery are still not physical health based. They are experiences and plans for my future. You do not need to have physical markers of illness to find reasons to recover. In my experience, the two are not linked at all. And I wanted to say that I feel invalidated, but I'm recovering anyway. This is yet another chink in your armour that the ED is trying to exploit to get you to keep you from recovering. Crudely, to get you to lose your life. You deserve recovery just as much as someone with these things, and recovery is just as possible. You are doing an amazing job. Keep going. There is nothing you can do to feel valid before recovering except die, and that would defeat the point. It's okay that you don't have these signs like people you see. In fact, I'm really flippin' proud of you for acknowledging that you need help before it got there. That takes strength. I wouldn't say that if I didn't really think that it was true. And to anybody else watching this who feels similarly, proof that you are not alone. And the final question is, what support from others works best for you? A huge one here is meal support. I have found it so helpful because when someone comes in to eat with me, I just feel like it's a non-negotiable to eat my lunch, and I can do so quite okay. And I can chat with them. I mean, it is always hard when you meet someone new for the first time and then you're having to do something stressful like eating in front of them. But once I've got past that initial phase, meal support has been so helpful. Definitely people just being willing to keep talking stuff over with me, because I do need it a lot. I need help processing, I need help rationalizing, and just someone being patient enough to sit there and go through with me for the 100th time what is actually going on. And lastly, I've always found it really helpful when people are going to eat the same as me at the same time, because it makes eating just feel so much more normal, and it shows that actually this is a normal thing to do. It's okay to eat pizza because literally everyone else in this room, or the person who sat with me, is also eating it, and it really helps me to come away from that fear. I need to say a huge thank you for how considerate you've been in the question box for today's video. I was really worried about triggering questions and not being able to fulfill my promise of answering every single one, but I've literally been able to speak on every topic. I would love some feedback, please, in the comments, or you can message me on Instagram at Inside Ellie's Mind, but with full stops instead of dashes, because most of that was me reading off my computer because I was so stressed that I wasn't going to remember everything I wanted to say. But I answered the last question just straight like this, and it was actually fine. So please let me know if one is better than the other. I love you all. I want you to understand that you are amazing, you are loved, you are worthy of so much. I hope that this Q&A has helped a little bit. I hope hearing my experience and my opinions has been eye-opening for you. Because you know what? We don't normalise recovery enough. Eating is normal, recovery is normal, challenging yourself is normal, and they are all really, really good things to do. So please look after yourself. Tell that voice in your head to go away. And if you are watching this from the perspective of a carer of someone with an eating disorder, you are appreciated. You are so kind to spend all of this time listening to me ramble. And yeah, you are so loved. Please look after yourself as well as the person with the eating disorder, because being a carer is a very difficult job to do. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you soon.